Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is HBCU Monday. I am Tolly Carr. We got a crew here. We got Stephen J. Gaither. We got Nick Eden. You might not know Nick's face, but you have seen his work. Nick is with HBCU Trending Weekly.
Yes, sir.
Basically, it's the comic strip-esque that comes out on Twitter, on X. And Nick, details what HBCU Twitter is talking about, and it is funny.
Yeah.
It is hilarious. We here at HBCU Game Day have been victimized. I'm sorry, Stephen J. Gaither, founder of HBCU Game Day. Have we been? We've been mossed. We've been posterized. We've
dunked
been,
on daily.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've been up there, man. But it's all in fun. If you haven't seen it, we're going to show it to you in just a bit. Let's set the stage for what we're going to talk about because we got a lot going on. Thank you for joining us on the live here on YouTube. Mickey Joseph was announced as the Grambling State head coach, had a press conference this morning. We're going to get into that. We got celebration news to kind of wrap up. John Grant is supposed to come join us this afternoon, so we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about HBCU Trending Weekly. Let's Nick, give us a quick intro into where the idea and the execution of HBCU Trending that North Carolina comes out from time to time, where it all came from.
Well, the Mississippi comes out of me too, so I get it. So essentially, it was not supposed to go past those first couple of days. If anybody's ever seen the memes where people are saying, oh, this happened in Black America in January, this happened in February, I'm looking and I'm seeing this particular week, something is going on every day. And it was coming off of the Jackson State, Alabama State game. Anybody knows I'm an Alabama State alum. Coming off the homecoming game where we spoiled the homecoming, but then you had Tennessee State going back and forth with the entire SWAC and MEAC that Monday. We all know about the famous pennant now, which has inspired some amazing new sets here. And it was so much going on. And I said, okay, let me just, and what's crazy is all I did was go and I Googled a calendar and screenshot it, which is completely against everything that I'm standing for because I've been a graphic designer for 25 years. So all of my friends were like, don't you ever put anything like that up again. I had no idea. I posted the original graphic and then I left Twitter. I came back and it had 35,000 views.
Whoa.
And everybody's like, well, what's gonna happen tomorrow? And then it just kind of went from there. And they were like, you have to keep this going. And so it's just taken on a life of its own. I promise you it was not supposed to go past that first week. And it's just, at this point, now I'm having to decide what that's trending on a particular day, because it's generally 3 and 4 things going on at one time.
How do you keep up with everything that is happening?
At this
And
point,
how do you rank it?
So ranking is pretty easy. It's just a quick scroll of my timeline. And you can see when everybody is talking about, like right now, everybody's talking about the new hiring at Grambling. Mm-hmm. Everybody is talking, I'll give you a good example. The Band of the Year, ESPN Band of the Year.
That was the thing.
I knew that was going on there because everybody was posting pictures of the crowd or lack thereof. And so for me, it was just like, okay, it's a no-brainer. But at this point, I literally have people either sending me a DM or adding me, tagging me in posts. And after a while, you see it and it's just like, okay, this definitely has to happen. This definitely has to go in there. So that's pretty much the scope of how I decide what's on there.
Do you, Steve, I'll let you jump in here, but do you get a little extra giggle when we run afoul of Twitter here at HBCU Game Day?
I think y'all get smoked that you don't deserve. I'll be honest with
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Nick.
Listen,
Thank you, Nick.
I think y'all get smoked because for me, Coach Prime has been on the calendar 6 or 7 times at this point. But it's quite literally what everybody is talking about.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I've been in this space of media for going on 18 years, since 2005. Metrics don't lie.
Nick, you are my dude. First time we have met, this is my dude right here.
No, the metrics don't lie, and the reality is, the way I look at it is, with HBCU coverage, people cannot bring him up without bringing up Jackson State or other HBCUs. Unfortunately, it's usually by an outlet where we don't have a control of the narrative, and it puts us in a negative light. So for me, I'm like, okay, just from a number standpoint, if it's going to be out there anyway, then we might as well control the narrative. I feel more comfortable if Game Day or HBCU Sports or any other outlet out there is covering it because, one, I look at it the same way. You take Reggie Barlow, Bama State grad, former head coach of Bama State, Virginia State, DC Defenders. Nothing to DC Defenders has anything to do with HBCUs. But you have an HBCU grad and coach there. It's worthy of a story. That's the same thing in Colorado. I know there's a sting because of how he left and the rhetoric that was behind it, but he's an HBCU grad, former HBCU coach. His 3 most prominent players all came from Jackson State, amongst the many that are there. How is it not qualified to talk?
It's history.
It's history. And the story is going to be told regardless.
Yeah.
So for everybody out there who has an issue with it, I'm telling you, the story is going to be told. It's going to be told. We should control our narrative on it. That's all I'm saying on it. But yeah, he's on the counter like 6 or 7 times.
But with all that being said, the smoke is still funny.
The smoke is still funny. Now look, I always know if I laugh out loud when I look at the calendar, I'm like, I got something here. The pennant the first week.
Miles, bring the graphic back on the screen with the trending the Twitter Trending Weekly. Right there. I don't know if you can see it, especially if you're on your phone. That one with the Tom Thursday on the right side of your screen.
I showed it to him and he literally fell out laughing like that. I was like, I can't. Like,
let me set the stage for what happened. All right, so and leave it on the screen, Miles. People got to check this stuff out. So I shoot content with my brother, Uncle Neely, about Colorado, right here in this studio. Tolly likes $1. Tolly ain't gonna pass up these dollars that are out there, right?
Holla.
Nick, look around. You see, this stuff costs money, right?
Yeah.
If we want to keep it, we got to pay for it, right? So Simone came in and we shot, and I'll be shooting this stuff back to back. And one day I just left the Colorado sign up and didn't even realize it and didn't think anything about it. And Nick, I don't be on Twitter, so all the smoke, I missed it. Like a whole week went by, I didn't even know it was a thing. But that thing right there is the funniest thing I have seen.
Listen, what was so bad, when I saw everybody posting about it, I was like, what? Because I didn't catch it. They have taken this video, dissected the video, blown it up. They're like, no, it's right there. You see the Buff logo right there. And I'm like, y'all have really gone next level with this. But it's funny, and it's got to go on there. And
the cause of it is a damn near 50-year-old man that can't remember 30 seconds ago and just totally forgot about it. It was no master plan behind
none at all. It was legitimately, that was probably the funniest.
Oh my God.
That ranks in top 3.
Tom and Jerry.
That ranks in top 3. So when I saw Tom, and I have a crazy memory when it comes to things like this. I saw that particular cartoon in my head before, and I was like, no, that's perfect. So I had to then go and look it up, and I was like, yep, there it is. So.
Yeah, because I think what happened was you had to pin it earlier the first time, and then that time it was like, were they trying to put it there to?
It was like, you sneaky MFs. That's what everybody took. It was like, you are trying. At this point, it feels like it's another level of trolling. And that's how everybody took it. And I was just like, it's got to go on.
It's enough.
And I was like, he just forgot. Like,
it's another level of Alzheimer's coming on. That's all it is right there. Which fan base makes it easy for you? Fan bases.
Jackson State. JSU, and to their credit, they are probably the most supportive fan base of the calendar since it came out.
Yep.
But they give a lot of material. They give a lot of material. It is never, I could really do a calendar every week just on JSU Twitter. It's that serious. The other fan base, and they started to come around, They were a little upset at first. A&T. The Aggies did not like to be mentioned, even when it was positive.
The Aggies didn't like to be talked about. What world are we living in? That shows you Twitter's not the real world. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Listen, they were in my mentions, like they were in my inbox, like, hey, you better take it off. Like, I was like, oh, I'm not taking it off. And that's why I put the disclaimer up there. I was like, they're just jokes. You might end up on the calendar next week. If I will put my own beloved Alabama State on the calendar, which I've done several times, what do you think I will do to y'all? But they have come around. The Aggies have come around. It's some really good Aggies. They're supportive. But yeah, JSU and A&T, hands down.
Oh my God. Kanisha Hall in the comments says
Dr. Kanisha Hall.
Dr. Kanisha Hall. I'm sorry, Dr. Hall. She finds the calendar has a little swag bias. She says MEAC madness matters. You got to troll the MEAC a little bit.
Well, now
I know where this is going.
I'll say this much. Ask and she shall receive. Now, I've had Howard on there a couple times. I look, and Howard is in my heart. I love Howard. I really do. But ask and ye shall receive. That's all I'll say.
MEAC Mike is going to need his own calendar next.
Do not feed the Bears. If it were not for the fact that I'm doing the 2023 recap this week, MEAC Mike would have probably about 2 spaces on the calendar.
So your 2023 recap is going to come down to what, a top 10, a top?
So 2023 recap is going to be all 12 months.
Okay.
Of 2023, and so formatted a little differently, obviously, but there are certain things that have, in the midst of all the chaos, they've absolutely stuck out throughout the year, and just know Ed Reed is going to be on there. We just go ahead and put that out there right now. Ed Reed is going to be on there right now.
In your mind, Steve. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead. I'll keep going.
No. Nah, you go ahead. You got it. You go ahead.
Do you have in your mind, without revealing, a clear-cut number 1 moment, or top 2, top 3 moments? You don't have to reveal it, but are there a few things?
I have my number 1.
You have a number 1.
I've got my number 1.
And will your recap, is it going to be just, hey, here's what happened in the 12 months, or are you going to say, hey, we're going to rank these here?
Oh, no, we're breaking these down. This is going to be several posts throughout the week. So you're going to have some honorable mentions, some ones that didn't make the top 12. It's going to be ranked. Oh, yeah, we're going to, if we're going to do it,
you're going to do it right.
We're going to do it right. So
speaking of feeding the Bears, we've got a comment from MEAC Mike, so we should probably expect more of the same. But nah, man, I just want to say I just appreciate what you bring to the space. I mean, Twitter was one of the first platforms where we really got a foothold, and so I remember when it wasn't what it is now. Like everybody, it was little pockets of people that might have gone to the same school, or maybe they were in the same conference and they knew each other. But now, over this last decade or so, it's coalesced and become its own thing, own entity. Sometimes I'm like, what in the world have we created? But then other times it's like, man, this is really dope. So I think what you do, you put a refreshing spin on it. Sometimes you see some things on Twitter, and thanks to this guy right here, I've gotten a lot better at not popping off, because I used to definitely pop off.
Nick.
We've had a lot of come to Jesus meetings.
Nick, at one point we were banned. There were conferences that just banned us.
Yeah.
We were blocked. That block. We were the original block. Got blocked.
Right.
Blocked.
I'll say this much: y'all have endured the storm, because y'all been catching strays from everybody.
Here's the difference, though. This is how we make our living. So it ain't about popularity. It ain't about what the peanut gallery has to say.
Right.
We gotta make this thing work, or else. Look, I delivered food one time just to keep things going, but we have to make this work, because this is how we make a living. So all decisions might not be popular, but and I don't want to get super serious here, but some of the things you don't like that we might cover really fund the things that you do like. So you got to balance that thing out, baby.
Yeah, and I will say this: anybody who is just going by what's posted or what's popular on Twitter, the algorithm picks up. It doesn't have, and I'm not just saying it because I'm here, I'm saying it because I've been a long time consumer of HBCU Game Day. Like, I have the app on my iPad, it sits on my desk at work. Anybody who has the app, maybe 5% of the stories are about he who shall not be named. Maybe. But I'm like, and I tell people this all the time, don't spend so much time sharing the things that you don't like. Amplify the things that you do like. If your school is on there,
control the algorithm at the end of the day.
Exactly. If your school is featured on there, share that story. You don't have to share the story. People will put out entire think pieces about the stuff that they don't like, but then just click the repost button on the stuff that
hopefully you click the repost
hopefully
button. Maybe not even that.
They might just click the
And there's
love
so
button.
many people that want you to stop talking about things that they are actually talking about. Like, everybody is eating, and now, now on Twitter, everybody can see how many views you got. So people know that when they do it, they know that they're getting the kick of the algorithm on certain things because people are talking about them. So it's as a street poet once said, the game is the game. So it is what it is. But like I said, I appreciate what you bring to the space. You bring some comedy to it, and it's a place where sometimes for somebody who's in there a lot, it can be a little bit head spinning. But
oh yeah,
But
I appreciate
the thing that I love is what's always been authentic to me for the HBCU experience. When I first came to Winston-Salem State in 1992, it's like your friends, like you can like really pick on them, like really bust their balls or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all love, and that's what I really like about what you're doing in your space. Is look, you're gonna give people the business, but
oh yeah,
it's jokes, and I take it as appreciation for what it is that either you did that one singular time or you're doing over the span of time. It's recognition. Like, the day people aren't talking about us or aren't talking about you, that means you become irrelevant.
because I have a lot of people who are just like, hey, how can I get on the calendar? And I'm like, that's not how that works. Listen, that's not how that works. You don't just, hey, let me send you a message and you get. That's not how that. Nobody just gets on it. Like, there are things that I would want to talk about, but if that's not what's trending, it's not going on there. I would love to have a calendar that did not have he who shall not be named at all. But that's what everybody's talking about. And if we're going to remain altruistic to what this is about, because there is such a thing. I studied communications, I studied media. There is still journalistic integrity. If I just put something in there that's just like, oh yeah, this is in here because I like it, then that ruins the credibility.
Right.
And then somebody else will just come by, copy it, do it, and then amplify it, and then I'm done.
Right.
So
Let me tell you, if y'all don't get behind them two boys to win that Heisman next year, so you can say they started with us, like, you got to take, I always say you got to take the win that's in front of you. Like, things might not have played out the way that you wanted them to, but you still have to take that opportunity to take whatever win is available.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's I just really appreciate what you're doing, and tell people about, obviously you went to, how much HBCUs mean to you. Obviously you went to Alabama State, but I know you're from Mississippi and you do a lot of work, with students and everything like that. Just talk about that a little bit.
HBCUs run through my family. It's in our blood. Period. My grandmother was first on my father's side. Graduate of Dillard University for her undergrad. Graduate of Xavier for her master's. My parents met at Dillard. I mean, you can name it: Clark Atlanta, Alabama State, Jackson State, Southern, Grambling, A&T, FAMU. You name it. There's somebody in my family, either immediate or, right outside the bubble, that is an alum of one of these schools. It's important for me because I know what it's done for my development. I know what it's done for my network. In particular, seeing this new generation of kids, and you have these platforms that allow them to apply to multiple schools and have multiple opportunities, and now they get to expand. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a meme, I know it's a shirt, but attending Alabama State was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Having those different options, which I had other options, but I look at my daughter who's at Tuskegee now. She was literally accepted to 23 schools. with almost $600,000 in scholarships. Much smarter than me, by the way. I was like, look, I'm gonna take this band scholarship and these student loans, and we're gonna roll out. But seeing her have the opportunity, seeing some of the other students I work with, and seeing them get that opportunity, and just seeing the light go off in their head, and it's like, wait a minute, I can actually go here. And I think of one student now. She's at Tougaloo. When she graduated, she had a 2.9 GPA. She just sent me her grades yesterday. She finished her first semester with a 3.8. Wow. And she was like, and they all called me Uncle Nick at this point. She's like, Uncle Nick, I've never had those type of grades before. I'm like, you always had it. She might not have had that if she'd gone to another school. At Tougaloo, she got a chance. And that, to me, that's the importance of all this. That's the importance of all this. When I run into people in the airport or just in a restaurant, anywhere, and I got on a Bama State shirt, and they got on Jackson State, yeah, we're gonna have some banter, of course, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's all love.
Nick, do me a favor. I want you to hold tight because we got another guest we're going to slide in here.
Okay.
But I want you to come back in a few minutes because we got one rivalry that we're going to have to figure out on the air how it became so toxic so quickly. We've got to have a little Dr. Phil come to Jesus meeting and figure out what is happening. I'll give you a clue. If you look at the screen, you can see both of the schools right now. Yep, they're kind of in the space right here. We're
hovering.
We're going to talk about it.
Right.
All right, Nick. We just had John Grant on. When you come out with your what's trending this week, you going to have any Celebration Bowl cartoons? It was the thing of the weekend. Did you have any moments?
There are a lot of moments from the Celebration Bowl. I was there, so.
What were your thoughts?
I thought that I'll be honest. I thought the Bison were going to take it. And I was literally surrounded by Rattlers. I was over by the band. Shout out to the Marching 100. It was a great experience. They were ruckus. They were rowdy. They were up on their feet. You can't duplicate. You couldn't pay for that kind of energy. But overall, enjoyed the game a lot. A swole ref went viral. So he. Swole ref went viral. That was all. That's always fun. It's always, but that's what I mean. It's always something. But overall, I enjoyed it. I agree with Mr. Grant. It was an absolute. It's like our third homecoming. For the year for those who have, multiple homecoming. I say third homecoming for us because we had Jackson State's homecoming too. But I'm gonna catch that later. Yeah, I'm gonna catch that later. But it was like a huge homecoming for everybody, and so I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next year. Looking forward to seeing how the band competition evolves and just making it just an all-encompassing weekend. But I truly enjoyed myself.
All right, so we just heard, guys, from the Grambling State head coach, brand new head coach, Mickey Joseph. I'm sure Grambling probably made what was trending with their coaching situation the last couple of weeks. Hugh Jackson's out. Got Mickey Joseph in. Stephen, what did you think of the hire?
Well, missed the 7 to 10 day window, but that's here and gone. Mickey Joseph is people remember him most recently from coaching Nebraska as the interim head coach for a little bit. That's actually his alma mater. But he actually has coached a lot of HBCUs. I believe he's the head coach at Langston for a while. He's been in the SWAC coaching there as well as an assistant and was on some of those Grambling squads for Broderick Fobbs. And he's kind of been ruminating in the HBCU rooms for a while. He kind of had that Power 5 pay that's kind of hard for people to overcome in this world. But the opportunity was there for him. Grambling, decided that they were going to move swiftly from Hugh Jackson. And they've got a guy who, was in the running for the Southern job a couple of years back when one of the assistant ADs was Dr. Travion Scott. So it's interesting how that all comes around. So we'll see. He knows he's going to have to win quick. So.
Well, there was a search committee. I can assure you the people in our comments were not on the search committee. They are caping for Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. That's what they wanted.
This morning, shout out to our guy from HBCU Legends, Kyle. He had reported that, maybe some folks had kind of voice some opinions. And
he said he reported it was a fluid situation
right.
overnight.
Right, fluid situation. So we don't know. I really thought about choosing violence this morning when I woke up and tweeting quoting that with a photo of Ed Reed waiting, but I decided not to. And luckily, Mickey Joseph got the job, so no need. But it just stays there.
So whatever was fluid froze over. They stuck to their guns and kept their man. What is the Grambling fan base like for you and showing up on your content side?
Gram Fam is interesting. A lot of interaction I have with Gram Fam was on Facebook. But since launching the whole calendar and everything, they've been interested. They've slowly come out of the woodworks. So I put Hugh Jackson on the calendar like 3 weeks in a row. I did not know the man was going to get fired. I'm sorry. I feel bad now. I'm like, did I have something to do with this?
You're a part of the mob.
Right. Yes. And to the new Coach Joseph, just don't bring a Bentley to the stadium.
Well, there was a quote in there that's pretty interesting, but go ahead.
Yeah, but no. So they've been quiet until Hugh was on the calendar for 3 weeks in a row, and then it was like, hey man, let me explain something to you. But no, Gram Fam's cool. I got family that went to Grambling, so it goes beyond Twitter. Now I get the calls and the texts. Yeah.
Oh, how'd they get your number?
Oh, it's literally my family. Like both sides of my family are from Louisiana.
So they're lobbying. Yeah. So now they're lobbying you to be on there.
Yeah, they're like, look,
I thought your number
or saying don't put us on there. One or the other.
Oh no. I've got family calling like, hey, you know you coming home for the holidays, right? You need to keep us out of this. So
they're gonna take the man's mac and cheese. Come on now.
Right.
Well, Gram Fam, according to some things we saw on Twitter after the press conference, they really liked when Mickey Joseph said, and I'm not quoting him exactly, but he said something to the effect of, "I'm here to restore order. People need to, basically remember who we are and fear us once again." Has it been 5 years now since Grambling has won a SWAC championship?
2017, yeah.
2017. Because normally, one of the strong statements that the Grambling AD said during the press conference when they talked about Hugh Jackson being let go was, a student athlete came up to him and was like, "I'm probably the first person in Grambling football history who was here 4 years and didn't win a championship." And if you go back and do the math, at least every 4 years, Grambling was right there winning a championship. So now that window has increased for the first time. So he's going to have, I don't know how much he's going to have his work cut out for him. Grambling wasn't a bad team last year. They were in the running for the division crown up until like the last 2 weeks of the season. Things didn't fall their way. And lost a lot of close games during the year.
Yeah, well,
but
is the SWAC better when Grambling is good?
Absolutely. They're one of the big three. It's quite possibly, people say arguably, I say that it is the most storied football program in HBCU history. When Grambling is strong, the SWAC is strong. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Coach Joseph does. I think that he has an incredible young man at QB1 with Miles Crawley, who is, obviously formerly of Alabama State. We got that lick back for him leaving. But, I think he has an incredible young man that he can build a program with, he can build around. And I think people are going to be excited to go and play for him and play for the Grambling brand. So I'm all for it.
I think the question is, you say building, building usually takes time. Hugh Jackson did not get a lot of time to build, if you ask people. So, the reality too is we're now a couple days away from National Signing Day. Obviously, a lot of that early signing day is geared towards the Power Fives and the FBS. But I think it was interesting. Coach Joseph talked about, kind of figuring out what is going to fit for him. He's talked about he didn't want to run everybody away that was at the program. He wanted to
give him the line he said about.
Well, he said when you marry a woman and she's got kids, they're yours. That's what that I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much where we got. So
he seemed to be the antithesis of I'm bringing my Louis. He seemed to make a distinction that that was not going to be.
Yeah, he kind of had that. We got McDonald's at home.
He's bringing McDonald's for everybody, not just his. He's bringing McDonald's for everybody. So but he also talked about the transfer portal, and also a lot of guys now with the Power Fives really focusing on that transfer portal. He felt like he could get some guys that maybe were thinking they were going to get some of those offers to some of those SEC places that he's coached at, and they aren't going to be there. So I think it's going to be interesting to figure out how much time he has, and and
he seemed pretty confident that right now everybody's thinking, hey, I'm getting a Power 5 scholarship.
Right.
And he went on to say, come January, it'll start to set in.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe Grambling is the place for me, and that's just the way it goes. The bigger schools are going to get I hate to use cliches, they're going to get the pick of the litter. And some of those kids, that's not to say don't show them love, because they might get to LSU or Alabama or Georgia and not get no PT, not get no burn. And then they might be a Grambling next season. You might
Shalimar said the second time around.
For sure. For sure. All right, in case you missed it at the beginning of the stream, Nick here from HBCU Trending Weekly. You got something special coming up, a little end of the year. What you got coming up for us?
So we're going to be doing a 2023 recap. We're going to give you the most viral moments of HBCUs for 2023. So all 12 months. I can tell you right now, we're not putting a van incident on there. Almost. It was this close. But, so yeah, be a good recap of 2023. And I think the best thing about it is it'll give everybody kind of like a nice little send-off as we go into the holidays. Sometimes the calendar can be stressful to some people because they see the things on there. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a nice little thing. And if you get triggered by it, I mean, then your name is probably Ed Reed. But, so yeah, that's where we are with it.
I love it. I love it. Miles, in case people missed it, in case they're not aware, let's bring up the graphic of some of Nick's great work here and tell people how they can follow you and keep up with HBCU Trending Weekly.
You can follow me at Nick Eden on Twitter. I know it's called X now, but everybody still calls it Twitter. But at Nick Eden, that's NickEden, like the Garden of. You'll see it. It says Hornet Holic because if during the Ely years, that's where I got that nickname, and you had to be drunk to watch the games. So follow me there. I follow back. I love to engage with everybody. And please, everybody, just remember, they're just jokes. It really is just jokes. It's nothing personal. But if you take it sensitive, if you get sensitive about it, you'll end up on the calendar next week.
Can we get a blow-up of the Tom and Jerry you did? I would love that.
He's going to put that on the wall.
In a frame. That is the funniest.
I'm going to send you the graphic by itself.
Oh, my God. How long does it take you to put that together?
Literally, it just takes me a few minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Graphic
I do the
design,
entire
baby.
calendar. Yeah, I'm a graphic designer. I do the entire calendar on my phone.
That boy good.
Takes me a few minutes. And especially on the weeks where, as a matter of fact, the week where to the left that had Coach Dooley on it, which, again, I didn't know that was going to happen. But
say what it says, because some people on their phone might not be able to make out the text.
Yeah, the other player saying, Coach, I'm about to hit the transfer portal. He's like, me too. Literally, with the exception of the first one that was on Sunday, the Texas Southern graphic, all the other ones I did through Wednesday, because I drop it 2 times a week. So I'll do Sunday through Wednesday, drop that on Wednesday, then do Thursday through Friday and drop it on Saturday. I mean, Thursday through Saturday and drop it on Saturday. So those first 3, it took me just like a couple of minutes, and then I had it up because I was like, oh man, I forgot. I still got to put those on there. And I had everything that I wanted on there. There was another graphic for the game day one, but I was like, Pinky is going to be, that's going to be perfect.
Man,
But yeah.
You got Gordon Gartrell over there. You got Tom and Jerry. Like, you were hitting like all the. Is that Bring It On? Is that like a Bring It On?
That is Bring It On. Yeah.
The Howard and Hampton
cheerleader battle. Yeah.
So fitting. So Edwin Moore says the tuba superhero didn't make the cut.
No, we did. It's right there.
Okay.
Sunday on that first week.
Okay.
He knocked the dude out.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you see the tuba in the
Yeah.
background.
I don't know if
Like,
he's talking about for the year or whatever, but yeah.
But we hasn't dropped yet.
For the year, listen, that's a strong contender for the year, but there was a lot going on. It was a lot going on last month. I don't know exactly if that's going to make it for the year.
I have never seen a cleaner two-piece in my life.
Man, look here.
Did not miss a note.
I was like, look, put him in the game. They need it right about now. Right?
Because look, on the line, it's all about the handwork, right? That brother had.
Yeah. And then went right back to playing. Like he literally didn't miss a beat. Like, he went right back to playing. The dude was just out. So yeah. But yeah, strong contender for the year.
So we're at Christmas, Steve. Did Santa bring us anything?
Santa brought some gifts. Yes, I got a couple of them. One for everybody. I don't even have one of these yet. So I've got our HBCU Trending Weekly. This is exclusively for the HBCU game day. Team, you all, I appreciate so much what you do. And, that was just a little something that I can give. Now, again, I don't even have one yet. So.
Oh, my God. That is awesome. Nick, thank you so much. We can't let Nick leave without giving him a gift, can we?
Man, what do we got?
He brought us.
We got.
I'm going to go back in the closet here, see what I can find.
I mean, the helmet? No, I'm playing.
There you go, man. You give me that Tom and Jerry, and then you can put that up on your wall.
This is going on the calendar. Just telling you now.
You right there. Give him the one. Yeah, give him the one. Let him so he can have a good clean screenshot there, Miles. There we go. Nah, man.
That's bringing it full circle.
That Tom and Jerry is goated. Nah, man. Like I said, we appreciate you for everything that you bring to the space, the laughs, because sometimes folks, you're like, are these people really serious? and some of them actually are.
The beefs between the schools.
Oh,
yeah,
that's we can't go. I'm sorry, I teased that. We did not pay it off. FAMU, Jackson State. What happened? How did that pop off like it did amongst the fans?
You're talking about probably the two most passionate fan bases. First off, when Jackson State says JSU versus everybody, they mean that. They mean that. Like, it's on site. They are quite literally, if anybody, and I put this on the calendar one week, if you ever watch Family Guy and you see Peter Griffin and the chicken going at it, that's Jack. So FAMU comes to the SWAC, and they don't come quiet. They are very braggadocious. When they say we brag different, they mean it. Now, it's a little bit different for us because we've been playing FAMU going all the way back to the SIAC. Years. They're bragging. Jackson State is like, nah, y'all need to come in and be quiet like Bethune did. Like, these are actual conversations that went on. And they're like, no, we're not being quiet, and screw you, and screw your coach, and his toes that are missing. Like, it got really bad. And they've been going back at it. So now they're still, like, as we speak, they are going at it on Twitter right now. No, actively going at it, falling out from the Celebration Bowl. And I'm like,
now, you're from Mississippi. Is it in the water down there that makes it spicy like that?
I'm going to tell you something. That is ingrained. The pride of Jackson State is ingrained into the alums from childhood. Like, I had people who literally stopped talking to me. I had a band scholarship at Alabama State, and I had a choir scholarship at Jackson State. And those were my two choices. I took the band scholarship. I had people who stopped speaking to me because I was not going to Jackson State. And look, I wish everybody had that kind of pride about their schools, but it is ingrained in them from yay high. And once they get on campus, oh no, it's all about thee. So anybody who comes with any kind of smoke, and it just so happens that FAMU was
a hint of smoke.
A hint of smoke. It was a vape. It was it was cold outside. It wasn't real smoke. But in FAMU was like, oh no, no. We're coming in loud and proud. We're coming in, we own the SWAC, and then they got beat 2 years in a row. So when they got that lick back this year, it's been on site ever since.
On site.
Yeah.
The definition of on site. Before we get you out of here, I gotta ask. You talk about rivalries, Magic City Classic or Turkey Day?
Magic City. For a different reason, though. Now, if we're talking about a heated battle, Turkey Day. There's people from Tuskegee that really don't like Bama State, and people from Bama State that really don't like Tuskegee. I'm at a weird place because, again, my daughter's there. But best believe, I always wear a Bama State shirt when I go to the campus. But Magic City Classic is more of a spectacle. It's more pomp and circumstance. And in fairness, we'll be sitting right next to each other and we'll be having fun. Anybody who saw the viral moment at Turkey Day this year of Bama State playing ball and parlay, just know it's a completely different.
I missed that.
It's a completely different atmosphere. So for different reasons, but in my personal preference, I would say Magic City Classic.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that was petty. Took their song.
Oh, it was petty.
That was petty.
I posted that video. Currently it has about 360,000 views on Twitter. Like it's not.
Oh man,
it's not a joke.
That was something. Nick, thank you so much for stopping by, man. Thank you for the great work that you do. I mean, you just keep us laughing every week, man. And I'm so glad that we got a chance to meet. And we understand it's jokes, and we really love and appreciate everything you do, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Just keep it going. Again, being in this media space for as long as I've been in it, and just kind of falling into this with the calendar, you guys are leading the market right now. Please keep doing it. We need it because, again, we have to control our narrative. If we don't control our narrative and it gets out of our hands, and I would challenge every other content creator out there, let's step it up. Celebration Bowl is past. We still got a ton of content when it comes to HBCUs. Let's keep building the market. Let's keep making this bigger and greater so that, that doesn't happen.
Absolutely. He's Nick Eden. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. He's Stephen J. Gaither. I'm Tali Carr. Shout out to our director, photographer, producer, Miles. Miles does it all. You never see Miles. But thank you guys so much for all of your support. Thank you for hanging out with us in the comments. Congratulations once again to FAMU, your Division I HBCU national champions. We look to do more live content, so make sure you hang out with us. Keep those notifications on and follow us everywhere at HBCU Game Day. Enjoy your Monday. We'll talk to you soon.
Good stuff.